Buckeye Talk at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center, talking Ohio State offensive linemen today. Early in preseason camp, I'm Nathan Baird from cleveland.com, along with Stephen Means and Doug Lesmerises. Last year, this team had so many tackles that it was playing tackles at guard. This year, they have two tackles that they really know that they can trust, and more to the point, arguably the best two tackles in the country. Paris Johnson Jr. will be playing left tackle, Dawand Jones at right tackle. Maybe not the two best in the country, but Doug, is it the best combination of tackles in the country, and why?
Yeah, no, I think it definitely has a chance to be that, because you've got a five-star guy in Paris Johnson that we've called maybe the best tackle recruit here since Orlando Pace. But Dawand Jones, I think, is the key to that. I thought he looked good. He said he's down to 364, which is a number he remembered, because Mekhi Becton, who was a big athletic tackle at Louisville a couple years ago, he's always been the obvious comparison for Dawand Jones. But I was asking Dawand about that today, and he really is yeah, that's the guy. He remembers, I think he met him on a visit to Louisville a couple of years ago, and it's just rare, big athletic guys with quick feet like that. But it's just the same story with Dawand Jones every year, is the weight, but it does seem like it's falling off. He said, when I look in the mirror, I still think I need to lose more, but he is getting there. And it's one of the things you think, man, that guy looks good, and then you look at Paris and you're like, well, okay, that's a little different. But Dawand is so big, and I still think we still have not seen peak, just physical at the place where he wants to be. But man, he's getting there, and if he can be that, a rare body type, and then Paris is Paris, that's how it could happen. Best tackle pair in the country potentially.
Yeah, and you think when a guy is that big that 10 pounds maybe wouldn't show up or whatever. That's what he said, he's lost, about 10 pounds. But I thought when I saw him today, I was like, oh, clearly he's slimmed down. He looks slimmer, and he said that he feels faster, in pass pro especially, feels healthier, feels like it's going to not take as much of a toll on his knees. It's going to just help him have more endurance through a season. Obviously, pass pro late in the season was an issue for Ohio State at times, and he's trying to correct that. How about the other side of things, the Paris Johnson side of things? He's moving from right guard out to left tackle, the place where he has always wanted to be, and says he now feels more comfortable, to the point where he's actually enjoying camp really for the first time in his career.
Yeah, he lost some weight too, he said, but that's because he was playing guard last year and needed to be a little bit heavier. He's playing lighter. I think the most interesting thing that got said about Paris Johnson wasn't even said about him, because he's going to say the same thing at this point every time we talk to him. Yes, I'm finally playing left tackle, which is what they brought me here to be. It was what I asked Luke Whipple. I asked him about him moving from right guard to left tackle, and he said Paris Johnson is lethal in space, which is what we're talking about here when you're talking about left tackles being on that island, protecting the quarterback's backside. Five-star tackle, number one tackle, to have your center saying that about you, that means something. Because regardless of what his ratings are, we still haven't seen him do it. So that's the first sign of somebody saying, yeah, this is working out really, really well. Because even in the spring game, we didn't really see it because JT and Jack had a field day with everybody. So it's to get that confirmation from one of his teammates as he's making that switch, that stands out more to me than anything else anybody said about him today.
Yeah, both he and Dawand, the way they're talking about this camp and the season that's ahead of them, you can tell there's been some maturing from both those guys. Not especially in the case of Paris, or really either of them, that you thought that they were immature before. But it's just, you can tell these guys are a year older, and it's they have a different presence of mind as the season is about to get going. A lot more talk about this on Buckeye Talk. Get it wherever you can find podcasts, and get the text 614-350-3315 intel as soon as we hear it from these players here in Ohio State's preseason camp.